Good morning, everyone. 3 years since the first MAICON, and we are finally back together. Thank you. Yes, everyone who came here, the workshops yesterday, anybody in the workshops yesterday, it seemed like those went really well. A couple people came up to me and told me some pretty cool stories, not only about their experience yesterday, but somebody in the room was actually here in 2019 and was telling me how that experience actually changed the direction of her agency. And that's the kind of stuff I've missed for the last 3 years. You know, we've kind of been doing what we're doing, trying to inspire this movement, and it helps to hear those stories. So I'm so excited to be here. I was actually standing in the back of the room commenting, this is the first time I've ever seen a conference where people, without being shepherded, actually came to the front of the room. So we actually filled as a group, which was pretty impressive. All right. So when we pick a theme, you know, you always kind of look ahead and say, what do we want to get across this year? So the first year, I believe, was our More Intelligent, More Human, and that stuck as the tagline for the conference. So that's sort of an overarching theme. But for this year, we, in the book, presented this concept of this next-gen marketer. And so I thought, well, we never really defined what that is, other than within the book. So I said it would probably make sense to do that as the opening keynote as well. So next-gen now is the theme, and you'll obviously see that within this talk and then kind of throughout the event. So in the opening of the book, we say we are in a rare position to create change, to reinvent what it means to be a marketer. You don't have to be a machine learning engineer or a data scientist to take advantage of what AI enables. You simply have to understand what is possible with smarter technologies and apply them to your business and career. As humans, we're really good at thinking in a linear path. We can predict what tomorrow will look like with reasonable accuracy because it's logical that it'll look and feel a lot like today. We tap into what is known and familiar. We build plans and make decisions based on our existing knowledge and technologies. But what if the near future looks nothing like the recent past? I've been studying artificial intelligence for more than a decade, writing about it, speaking about it, building an event, media, and education company around it. But sometimes, new AI applications emerge that change things. You may not see them coming, even when you're looking for them. That happened to me on April 6th, 2022, when OpenAI tweeted to announce DALL-E 2. OpenAI, if you're not familiar, is an AI research company that built GPT-3, which powers many of the leading AI writing tools on the market today. DALL-E 2 is an image generation technology that uses simple text prompts to create images. It doesn't string together photos, it actually creates the image from the pixel level up. I immediately visited the OpenAI site to learn about the technology, what it was and how it worked. You couldn't test it, it wasn't available, but you could sign up for an invite. Later that day, I read a post from OpenAI CEO Sam Altman about his thoughts on DALL-E 2, and I tweeted this excerpt from his article. A decade ago, the conventional wisdom was that AI would first impact physical labor, and then cognitive labor, and then maybe someday it would do creative work. It now looks like it's going to go in the opposite order. A few weeks went by as I waited for my DALL-E 2 access. Then, on the morning of April 29, I saw 2 tweets that changed my perspective on where we were and where we were going. The tweets were from Philip Isola, an assistant professor at MIT and a former visiting research scientist at OpenAI. I don't know Philip, and to my knowledge had never seen him on Twitter before, but the 2 tweets surfaced on my For You page under the artificial intelligence topic. The first tweet read, back in 2018 at OpenAI, a few of us wrote a story with GPT as an AI co-author. We didn't have an AI illustrator back then, but now we sort of do. So I tried plugging the text into DALL-E. Here is the result. The story was called The Bees, a short story by humans and AIs. So what you see here, if you can't read the text in the back of the room, the passage from that short story he put into DALL-E read, Once upon a time, there was a beehive that produced the most delicious and most golden honey in the entire universe. And that's the image that DALL-E 2 created. The first tweet certainly caught my attention, but it was the second one that triggered emotions in me I wasn't ready for. Philip wrote, "I think we are in for a very interesting future of creative expression. To me, these tools do change things. Something is lost and something is gained. I really enjoyed making this, but I also feel the pain that certain parts of this creative process are no longer uniquely human." At Marketing AI Institute, we tend to focus on the theoretical net positive of AI in the coming years, a symbiotic relationship between humans and machines. In this scenario, the machines will do all the data-driven, time-intensive work most humans don't enjoy anyway, while the humans spend their days being strategic, creative, empathetic, and happier. But what if the work that defines you and brings you fulfillment changes? What if AI moves further into the strategic and creative realms much sooner than expected? I reshared Philip's tweets and added some context to my thinking at the time. Something is lost and something is gained. This is going to be so true for creative pros. AI will gradually surpass some of our human abilities as writers and designers, but it will also augment our capabilities and open new possibilities. I went on to write, "What will we lose? What will we gain, and when?" The entrepreneurs and business leaders who find these answers and adapt their talent and business models will dominate the coming decade in every industry. After I posted those tweets, I was at my home office, so I went downstairs to share the conflict I was feeling with my wife. To understand why I would be conflicted, you have to understand who I am. I'm a writer by trade, a storyteller, not an AI researcher or a machine learning engineer. My wife is an artist. Our 10-year-old daughter is an aspiring artist. My son wants to be a video game designer. I realized in that moment I had no idea what the future of creativity was, but I knew there was no turning back now. It was only a matter of time until this technology would be commercialized and accessible to everyone. I, at the time, told my wife I thought within 3 to 6 months they would open up DALL-E 2 to everyone. I explained to my wife how I thought DALL-E 2 and similar image generation technology to come would change art and graphic design, how children's books would be illustrated by AI, how marketers would be able to generate images on demand for blog posts, ads, social media shares, websites, logos, collateral. And the same thing was happening in writing due to massive advancements in language AI. Art, creativity, and business would never be the same. Then, in late May, Google unveiled Imagen, another image generation technology. You give it a prompt, it generates an image. However, Google has chosen not to release Imagen code or a public demo to date due to concerns about ethical use of the technology and bias inherent in the training set. Then on June 15th, I got my early access to DALL-E 2. I was sitting in my backyard, it was about 10:30 at night, and I happened to be drinking a glass of scotch. So what do I put as my first prompt? Artificial intelligence writing a blog post while drinking a glass of scotch, digital art. And in 8 seconds, DALL-E 2 created 6 original images of my prompt. Next, Super Mario on the moon playing basketball with Luigi, oil pastel. 8 seconds later, I had 6 images. It was a hot day. My son had played baseball that day, so I went with kids playing baseball on a hot day, chalk drawing. And finally, I was thinking about MAICON, and maybe I would use this some point in my talk, so I put friendly robot dressed in a sports coat and jeans presenting to an audience from a stage, digital art. Then on June 16th, the next morning, I shared DALL-E 2 with my daughter. I explained what it was and had her give me a prompt: a fat, fluffy unicorn dancing on rainbows. She looked at the image, looked at me, and then walked out of the room and didn't want to talk about it. When I was building this presentation, I asked her if we could talk about that moment and how it made her feel. She said, "I didn't like it. I don't like AI like you do." I asked if it bothered her that AI could create images. She said, yes. I said, I understand it bothers me too. When I showed her an early version of this presentation, she brought up how the AI doesn't have an imagination like we do. It just learns from images it sees. I had taught her that. Takes other people's ideas and imaginations and changes them. She's right, of course. I think a lot of humans feel the same about AI. We don't want to believe it can do the things that we do. But here we are. Machines are creators. They just aren't creative in the traditional human sense. As Isla pointed out, and as we wrote in the book, they don't have imaginations, emotions, or consciousness. A machine does not feel anything when it writes or creates images. A machine calculates probabilities and produces outputs based on data. Human creativity remains unique. Our creativity comes from the sum of our experiences, knowledge, senses, emotions, capabilities, and imagination. But machines can do amazing things with simple text prompts. If you can't see it in the back of the room, a purple dragon flying over Hogwarts with fireworks in the sky, photorealistic. Machines can create, and they can inspire human creativity. I tell you the story of DALL-E 2 because it's tangible. It's representative of where we are and where we're going in marketing, business, and society. I don't have to like it, you don't have to like it, but we do have to accept and figure out the best path forward. Every career path, business, and industry will be changed by AI. It's simply a matter of time. So what can you do to turn uncertainty AI presents into opportunity? Start by asking these 3 questions. What will be lost? What will be gained? And when? If you're curious enough to understand what AI is and what it's capable of doing, you will see the inevitable transformations that are coming. If you figure out the answers to these 3 questions, then you have the opportunity to transform your career and your business. To demonstrate the utility of AI, you may have noticed, but every image in this opening, with the exception of my family and Super Everything Girl, which my daughter created, was generated by DALL-E 2. I gave it a prompt of what I wanted to show on the slide, such as photo of a robot and a human sitting together watching the sunrise, and it produced 4 options for each prompt in under 10 seconds. My favorite is my little robot with the backpack. That was 3D render of a cute robot wearing a blue backpack with a dark blue background, images of the galaxy in his eyes, digital art. The one that actually made me stop was the pencil drawing. That was pencil drawing representing futuristic technology, where the hand is actually interacting with what appears to be some futuristic technology. These were single-shot prompts. I didn't edit. I didn't keep creating variations. The only one I actually edited is the little guy with the backpack. He started as red. So in DALL-E, I erased his backpack, changed the prompt to a blue backpack, and it updated the image to be a blue backpack in moments. So now let's talk about the future of business. Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella has called AI the defining technology of our times and stated that Microsoft's objective is to be able to turn every industry into an AI-first industry by enabling companies to convert data into AI capabilities that drive results in digital transformation. With each day that passes and each advancement in AI, specifically in language and vision technology, it's becoming more apparent that there will be 3 types of businesses in every industry: AI native, AI emergent, and obsolete. I keep running through examples in my mind, and I can't come up with an industry or business model where this won't be true. Take any business and just look for opportunities to personalize consumer experiences, intelligently automate repetitive tasks, and enhance creativity, innovation, and decision-making. You can build a smarter version of every business with AI, and if you don't, someone else will. But why now? What is different about this moment in time when we've been going through digital transformation for decades? I'm going to give you 8 quick points as why I think this is true. And my basic thesis is you have to disprove any of these 8 things to not believe the statement that AI native, AI emergent, obsolete are the future. The first, data and our need to understand it and act on it continues to expand exponentially. Second, consumers demand convenience and personalization without invasion of privacy in both B2B and B2C marketing, sales, and service. Leadership expects greater performance with less resources, especially over the last 6 months or so. 4, predicting human behavior and business outcomes are essential to reducing uncertainty. Boards, investors, and company leaders hate uncertainty. 5, the power and speed of cloud computing continue to rise. As a result, the cost of building AI application continues to fall, democratizing access. 6, Amazon, Google, and Microsoft, will have representatives from Amazon and Google here over the next 2 days to talk with us, continue to rapidly expand their AI research, teams, and cloud offerings, bringing AI innovations and tech to businesses of all sizes. And they're not alone. Adobe, Apple, IBM, Meta, Salesforce, NVIDIA, they're all investing hundreds of millions, not billions of dollars in building AI capabilities in research labs. 7, venture capital money is pouring into AI startups that are enabling people to build very focused, smarter businesses within niches within industries. And finally, the rate of AI-powered innovation is accelerating, opening up possibilities for entrepreneurs who have a vision to change things. So an AI-native company is built from the ground up, with AI infused into everything it does. It wouldn't exist without artificial intelligence technology. It's built into marketing, sales, and service, the product and service itself. They're more resource efficient. They think bigger about the possibilities within their industries. They put a premium on data and how to use it to drive decision-making within the organization. And they build smarter businesses that rise to the top of their industries. You can pick any industry, pick any niche within it, and you can build a smarter version of it. If I was running a venture fund today, this would be my thesis. Find industries that are too conservative, too traditional, build smarter versions of the companies within it, and take out the existing companies. You can do it in every single industry. If you want to see examples of this, go to the accelerators, Y Combinator, Techstars, 500 Startups. Just look at the companies that they're putting out in the industries they're doing it within. One of our favorite examples is Descript. So we use Descript that's infused with AI in seemingly every feature within the platform. We use it for transcription, video editing, podcast editing, doing things in-house that used to require outside production teams. For about $30 a month, we can do things we didn't even know were possible with audio and video with almost no training. AI emergent companies are existing organizations that have visionary leaders that see the opportunity to transform, and they move quickly to do it. They probably start with pilot projects, and as they build those successes, they start scaling AI. They innovate faster, they look at opportunities for personalization. The key here is they have the data, the customer bases, the infrastructure, and potentially the money to take out the AI native companies, to acquire them or to get there first because they have a head start. Netflix is the prototypical example of an AI emergent company. Started in 1997 delivering DVDs by mail. But look at this job listing from fall of 2021. When I saw this on LinkedIn, I actually shared this with my team that day. It's for a machine learning intern, but look at how they describe what they're doing. This is for an intern. We're reinventing entertainment from end to end, revolutionizing how shows and movies are produced, pushing technological boundaries to deliver streaming video at scale, improving personalization to 200 million people around the globe. What can you learn from Netflix? Think about your own business and say, what should we be reinventing? What can we revolutionize within our space? What are you and should you be doing that with? It's time to start figuring that question out because otherwise you're this. Obsolete companies, and we all know them, some of us may work for them, they have leaders who don't want to change. They're resistant to it. They're successful maybe how they are or how they got there. They're not running pilot projects. They're not seeking information about AI. And over time, it's not tomorrow, but over time, they will just become irrelevant. They won't create the value they once created in the industry. Now again, go back to my background. I'm just an entrepreneur, a storyteller. I'm not an advocate for AI saying, let's just put AI in everything, let's change everything. So I still believe in the fundamentals of business. You have to build a good brand. You have to have strength within the customer experience. You have to have good people, a good culture. AI doesn't replace the need for these things. But if you build those fundamental things and you have AI, how do you compete with that? How do you stay competitive in an environment where companies are building these capabilities into those other things? So the moral of the story is choose to be or work for an AI native or AI emergent company, because otherwise your career path won't have the future that you hope it would. And that brings us to next-gen marketers. Next-gen marketers know that in order to deliver the personalization and experiences modern consumers expect, marketing must become smarter. It must become marketer plus machine. Now, the key for all of you in the audience is this doesn't mean you have to be coming out of college to figure this stuff out. It's not age-banded. It's marketers, entrepreneurs who embrace change and realize there are smarter technologies to build smarter businesses. So we think of next-gen as delivering personalization that's expected by consumers, unlocking creative possibilities with language and vision technology, and driving business performance that's unparalleled by your peers. So if you buy into this concept that there is really no alternative, we have to be next-gen businesses, we have to be next-gen marketers and leaders, then you have to ask yourself, where do I go? What is my learning journey? And so I would ask you, why are you here? And I mean this literally at MAICON, but metaphorically at this point in your career where you're trying to understand AI and apply it to your business. There's two probable answers to this. The first is that you're here to grow your career, personal transformation. You're trying to understand AI because you're curious. You're looking for use cases and technologies that'll drive productivity, creativity, and performance within your own career. And maybe you want to be a change agent in your organization. You see this opportunity, and whether you're the intern or you're a college student or you're the CMO, you want a seat at the table. You want to be able to drive this forward. Or maybe you're here for your business. Maybe you're a leader. Maybe you own it. Maybe you want to own a business and make that leap and build an AI native company. So you're looking more at education of your team potentially, trying to find use cases and technologies that'll drive performance within your organization. You're thinking about the customer and how do we make that a better experience? And overall, how do we drive the growth? How do we make it more efficient from a cost perspective? And how do we accelerate revenue? So think about the answer to this question. Why are you here over the next 2 days as you pick which sessions to go to, which vendors to talk to, and which people to network with? Also consider what it's going to take to get there, whether it's personal or business transformation. Mastery of AI, or any subject really, is an aspirational thing. We may never get there, but it's helpful to have that in your mind as you pursue knowledge. So at the comprehension phase, you're learning what AI is, you're looking for use cases and technologies. Many of you in the room are likely at this point. You're just trying to grasp what it is and what the potential is. At the competency phase, you're actually beginning to apply it. You're finding practical applications, you're running pilot projects, gaining confidence in talking with vendors, and potentially beginning to see lifts in your performance or the performance of your organization. At the mastery phase, you're applying everything you've experienced and known to grow your career and to grow your organization. You're differentiating yourself from your peers and becoming invaluable to your team. What we know from our research, though, from the State of Marketing and Sales AI report that we just released with Drift in June, is that there's a lack of education and training. We asked people, do you consider the barriers to adoption of AI in your marketing? 63%, by far the number one answer, said lack of education and training. Then when we asked, does your organization offer any AI-focused education and training for the marketing team, only 11% said yes. So we're trying to fill this gap at Marketing AI Institute. We see this as a big need within the industry to move the industry forward. So our mission has always been to make AI approachable, accessible, and actionable. But now we need to play a larger role in building next-gen marketers, leaders, and businesses. We do this in 5 key ways. We've published 800 plus articles on AI, hundreds of vendor spotlights, dozens of webinars, podcasts, and videos, and a book. And we plan to publish more, but we're moving into more specialized blueprints, reports, guides, and templates that can bring AI to life in your organization. MAICON will remain the focus of our event business, and we'll be back in 2023. I'm not making an announcement right now. Time and location to be determined, but we're also exploring more targeted summits in different regions and within specializations within marketing and business, and partnering with leading organizations and associations that can bring AI experiences to their members. The Online Academy, which many of you are members of, our plans there continue to evolve and offer more in-depth original courses tailored to personas, industries, and business models, starting with a new Piloting AI for Marketers on-demand course this fall. We're also expanding our in-person and virtual workshops to help organizations accelerate AI adoption with their teams in interactive group training sessions. Our 3 core workshops are Next Gen Marketing Leader, which some of you saw an early version of yesterday as part of that workshop. The Next Gen Marketing Agency, which we're going to be investing a lot of resources in building out agency capabilities and knowledge. And then Piloting AI, the use case model, which is based on chapter 4 of the book and teaching the use case model. And then finally, we're launching Smarter X Consulting, a new consulting practice within the Institute to help build smarter AI native and AI emergent businesses. My co-author, Mike Kaput, and I are going to lead that practice and help organizations design smarter solutions for high-value business challenges using the problem-based model that's also built out in the book. For select advanced projects, we'll bring together the brightest minds in the industry to build dedicated teams of strategists, data scientists, AI researchers, developers, entrepreneurs, and domain experts. These Smarter X teams will help build next-gen business models, products, and services powered by AI. That practice will start scaling up in the fall. So when we think about mastery and we go back to why are we building what we're building, how does it help you? First time I really even brought this to mind and visualized it was about 2 weeks ago in building this deck. And what I wanted to do is say, are we doing enough? Are we creating the things that are needed for our community to actually achieve what they're setting out to achieve? So the way I see this now is the vast majority of what we have done to date is at the comprehension phase. If our Intro to AI for Marketers live class, I'm sure there's people who've taken that. We launched that in November. It's free every 2 to 3 weeks. We've had 4,500 people register for that over the first 13 sessions. So that was a major play for us to try and bring this to everyone. The book, obviously, the conference, podcast, these are all things that help build knowledge. They introduce you to concepts. At the competency phase, the Piloting AI course is going to go much deeper. It's going to take core concepts from the book, build out new content, new templates, technology demos from vendors, case studies. I see the Piloting AI for Marketers course becoming the foundation of online education. Category and industry blueprints are going to specific areas around like advertising, content marketing, email marketing, and then into industries like CPG and retail and finance and insurance. Also, the popular AI in Action webinar series is going to be back August 30th to September 1st with Market Muse, AI Advertising, and Prasado, 3 of the sponsors here today. And then from a mastery standpoint, in addition to consulting and workshops that I already mentioned, we've got a lot on the roadmap for 2023, including next-gen campaigns, a reimagined professional certification program, a new Scaling AI on-demand course, and a verified AI vendor program to help cut through the jargon and buy AI tech with greater confidence. But probably our biggest initiative is the 1 Million Marketer Challenge that we announced last fall. We're building a community and a movement to accelerate change in the industry with a goal of introducing AI to 1 million marketers by 2026. AI is going to have an immeasurable impact on our industry, the business world, and society, and we need more marketers and leaders who understand AI and are working toward the responsible use of it in all applications. We believe that marketing can be more intelligent and more human, but we need your help to continue to learn and share your knowledge and experiences with your peers so that we can move the industry forward together. The next 2 days give you an enormous opportunity to learn and grow. You'll be able to gain knowledge from 30 incredible speakers, experience AI technology in the exhibit hall and during lunch and learn sessions, and network with fellow marketers and leaders. MAICON will give you the foundation to become the change agent within your business and be the one who drives the next frontier in digital transformation. Thank you for being here, and thank you for being a part of this incredible community. Thank you.